Hey folks, Brad here again. My last video, I guess the long one, my 8-month review, was pretty noisy. Apologize for that. Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense, I guess, to turn the camera on and then drive down a concrete road at speed and have all that background noise. So apologize for that. Not that I saw a lot of you folks made it through, but there was actually a portion of that video where I move the camera to view the dashboard, and then I talk about some of that stuff. So what I'm going to do here, excuse me, what I'm going to do here is, this is an introduction that I'm going to splice into that part. So you know, for those of you who made it, I certainly appreciate that, and I apologize for the duplicate there, but instead of going out and reshooting all that stuff, even however awkwardly it was done before, I think there's some good information there for someone who has one of these things, so I wanted to make sure that you folks saw it, because a lot of my videos, you know, the viewership trails off about 5 or 6 minutes, which is pretty typical, but I like to talk, so they end up being a little bit longer than that. So anyway, again, apologies for the crappy audio in that one. It's a little better in the second half, so humor me there too, but I hope there's some good information in that for you folks. And also, I'm just about to put another video up about my success with my winter tires and rims, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. Anyway, as I say, always, thanks for your attention, folks, and if you could maybe throw me a like or a subscribe, that would be really cool. Anyway, all the best, folks. Chat soon. There, now with the camera mounted in front of me and you're looking at the dash, you can see on the left over here, I have the, that's the charge left in the battery. Now I've been driving this thing for about, that's about 25 kilometers since full, so that's not bad. And on the right side too, obviously there's the fuel, no big deal, that's typical. Again, it's a 26-liter tank. I'm amazed at how small that is, but again, the most important thing is I've used about 6.5 tanks to go the 14,879 kilometers you see in front of me now. And you can also see up on the right there, just to the right of the speedometer, that's the lane keep assist, and then the radar cruise control, which you see as well. So not really a tachometer, of course, as you'd expect. You have the, it's the power gauge. If I really stand on it, I can push the throttle past the détente, which will actually turn on the gas motor. And that's, if I do that, see as it gets closer to that white section off of the blue, that's where the gas motor would come on. But as you can see by the EV in the upper left, just below the D indicating drive, it's not there. So when you lift off the throttle, there's a bit of a charge, you know, it's a D-cell. A regen, I can use the paddle on the left. There's 3 or 4 arrows that indicate how much regen I can use to assist with braking. Again, I hardly touch the brake pedal in this thing, especially during a lot of traffic like this. So, as I say, this thing is, it's terribly easy to live with. It's not that exciting because it's a practical car, but the main reason I bought this car was to save money, both on fuel, like that's a nice bonus. You know, it'll take years for that to hit a crossover point, but more importantly, it's the maintenance that I won't have to pay for. At least that's my understanding. I've owned several other cars, lots of good cars, even a couple of Mercedes, and those ones cost me so much money for maintenance for things that just shouldn't have happened, like intake manifold warpage because the one happened to be plastic, have plastic horns, and you know, I've been building cars for a good number of years of my life, and I've never seen something like that. I didn't do that one, but I did rebuild the air suspension on one of my Mercedes, and that was just ridiculous. If I didn't do it myself, it would have cost me $5 grand, and that's just ridiculous to pay for a car that's supposed to be practical and useful. Yeah, and kind of nice. It was a Mercedes, don't get me wrong, but you know, save that money for your fun cars, like my S2000 or my Ducati, which is you know, the motorbike, which I excuse me, my motorbike, which I absolutely love. So it makes no sense to do that when you can get a car like this for a decent price, as comfortable as anything you've ever hoped to be in, and get the extra efficiency. So I love this car. You know, it's not perfect. Some of the negatives, I don't really have any other than the kind of lack of, it's not that thrilling to drive, generally speaking. Of course it understeers because it's front drive, although not as bad as I thought. There's certainly been other like V6 front drive cars that would understeer more because there's way more weight over the front than you'd expect. And of course the battery's in the back, so it balances out a little bit. But the only other negative that just came to my attention the last few days is the 1.5 Hondas that are in the CR-Vs and the Accords, and then obviously this car, have a oil dilution problem. So I'm going to pay attention to that. Like I say, I just changed the oil, keeping an eye on the level. What happens is these things don't get hot enough to burn off the blow-by or whatever. I mean, I don't know all the details, but the net of it is there's fuel condensation well, it makes its way into the oil pan. So obviously that's not a good thing. You don't want to wash dilute your oil with gas at all. So I'll stay tuned to hear more about that. I haven't heard anything from Honda telling me that I need to bring the car in for a service or a recall on that, but it's certainly something I'm paying attention to. Otherwise, I mean, honestly, it's a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder twin cam motor. How complex can they be? Again, it's got a CVT gearbox for when that thing's actually engaged, but that hardly ever runs. So if Honda hasn't figured out a 4-cylinder motor by now, I'd be surprised. So, but you know, if you have any questions about it, let me know. I mean, I've got almost 15,000 kilometers on it. Spent a lot of seat time in it, in the city, on the highway too. I can tell you more about that if you're interested. You know, it's a great car, and as I say, it's a great companion to my fun cars, because you know, we all need to have our practical cars beside all of our fun cars too. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, if I could please ask you to click that like button, that would really help me out. It lets me know if you guys want to see more videos like this or others. And hey, if you like some silly car videos about me and my ridiculous trials and tribulations of working on my cars, you know, maybe click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that too. Anyway, folks, as I always say, best of luck, happy motoring, and I appreciate all your support. Take care, everyone.